Good afternoon and welcome to Irons United. And the news, of course, is that we've finally signed Tomas Soucek. It seems that the deal is a loan to buy. We're paying something like 4 million euros to have the player for the rest of the season. And if we stay up and if he's successful, then we'll be looking to pay another 16 million euros in order to make the deal permanent. So here's hoping we stay up. Soucek, 24-year-old central midfielder who can play in two main positions in midfield, either a deep-lying holding midfield role or a more prominent attacking role. So essentially, he's the box-to-box midfielder that we've been crying out for ever since, Chiati left the club? Over the past couple of seasons, we know that we've been heavily reliant on players like Mark Noble and Declan Rice to man that midfield berth. With a number of players, having been tried out alongside them, such as Sanchez, who we know has been a complete and utter disaster, and more recently Robert Snodgrass a few times. So, what do we know about Soucek? He's a Czech international, having appeared 14 times for his national team, 4 of which were in World Cup qualifiers and 8 in the UEFA Euro qualifiers, where he scored 1 goal. He started his senior career for Czech national side Žižkov, where he was spotted and signed for Czech First League side Slavia Prague. He was signed for them in 2015 season. He had a brief loan spell out to Liberec, again in the Czech First League, but it's at Slavia Prague where he's built his reputation. He's appeared 148 times for them, which has included 13 appearances in the Champions League and 21 appearances in the Europa League. As a primarily holding, defensive-minded midfielder, he scored 35 goals, of which 13 were scored last season, and he's already scored 10 this season. So that's not a bad return for a defensive-minded player. And that's roughly 1 goal in every 4 games. Now, despite being defensively minded, Soucek has got a great ability to create chances for his teammates, and he's got a fantastic ball distribution. He's great at carrying the ball out from central midfield, from the back, sorry. And the way he plays for Slavia Prague, he can sometimes drop in as a third central defender, picking the ball up and then distributing the ball out. Now, his style of passing is short, crisp passes, taking the ball forward, short, crisp passes, moving the team forward. And by dropping in the back three, it allows the right back and the left back to get further forward, to start thinking about sort of an attacking play. So it's going to be interesting to see how he'll play alongside Declan Rice. I'd suspect he would probably play either alongside Rice or just in front of him. But I also think that he will also, there are opportunities to utilise Soucek in a 3 midfield alongside Noble and Rice. And that will kind of stabilise our midfield. We've kind of needed it for a long time. Someone who can think about carrying the ball forward, someone who can get the ball passing short, and getting the attack-minded players involved. Now, he's described as a robot. He never stops moving, and his passing ability, I think, would suit our team quite well. That short passing, I think, would really suit the likes of other technically gifted players like Anderson and Fornals in the team. And even Lanzini, might wake Lanzini up. Now, he's a tenacious tackler, and his thin frame shouldn't be mistaken for him not wanting to put his foot in and making essential blocks. There's even a possibility that, as I said, that he'll play alongside Noble and Rice. But I think there'll be games when Noble will be rested and you'll see Soucek next to Rice. And then there'll be games where Moyes might decide to play a 4-3-3. And if he does that, it kind of releases Anderson, Fornals, Lanzini, Allaire, and Allaire would benefit from that as well, wouldn't he? So, you know, those players can just go forward and you'll have Soucek alongside Noble, alongside Rice to shore up that midfield. What else do we know about him? Well, you know, he's technically gifted, really good passer of the ball. I think we must be happy that he's coming to West Ham. 24 years of age. If we stay up, and the opportunity to sign him permanently can only bode well for West Ham. We do need younger players in the team. And in all fair play to David Moyes, he said he wants younger, hungrier players. So this is Soucek's opportunity to show what he can do in a new league. So fingers crossed that it all goes well. But what about other signings? Well, you know, we've had a whole load of other rumours, haven't we? If you saw the last few shows we've been doing, and the show I did on Sunday night, something like 26, 27 players named. Now, apparently, we've had extensive talks with Steven Nzonzi, but he's chosen not to come back to the Premier League, and he's opted for Rennes. Apparently, we've put in, as David Moyes has described, a proper bid for a player, and it is rumoured that that bid is for right back Rasmus Christensen of Red Bull Salzburg. Now, he's a 22-year-old defender, not so much as a wing-back type player that Fredericks could be. He's a little bit more reserved in his defensive duties, but he's highly rated, and, you know, let's see if that actually materialises. And apparently we've tabled a loan bid. Oh, by the way, I don't know how much we've bid for Christensen, but he only went to Salzburg for something like about 5 million euros. So let's say they want to make a bit of money on him. Who knows? 8 million euros? 6 million pounds? Not bad really for a right back, 22 years of age. And apparently we've also tabled a loan bid for £30 million rated AC Milan striker Krzysztof Piatek. But we're in competition with the likes of Chelsea and Spurs apparently for this 24-year-old striker who's scored 26 goals over the last 18 months at AC Milan. Now, he wants to move to London, but whether he chooses West Ham over, you know, Chelsea or Spurs will remain to be seen. And I don't want to build our hopes up after, you know, the fiasco that we had with Fernandes, who his agents were touting him for every single London team around, and he eventually chose Spurs. So that's a brief update. It's good news that we've signed someone else. It looks like we will probably sign other players. But as you've seen, it seems apparent that if we're going to go for the more expensive players, they're going to be on loan. I think that's the reason being is because we don't know if we're going to stay up. You know, it's quite a risk for any player to want to come to West Ham at the moment while we're fighting a relegation battle. But we really need more players, and Soucek, hopefully, I know we've already got Darren Randolph, but Soucek hopefully is the first of one or two more signings before the transfer window shuts on Friday. So watch out for all our other shows to see who else is coming up.